I am so proud of us though. Like we are earning our tech podcast tag today.
We are.
We're earning
We
it.
really are.
I triple dog dare ya!
Yeah, dude. Like, so you sent me the picture of the GPU. And that was a 3090 Ti, and you bought it refurbished. Where did you get it from?
Newegg.
You got it from Newegg. So did Newegg refurbish it themselves or what?
I imagine so.
Oh, okay. How much did you pay for it?
Told you that I am a bit of an impulsive person, and I don't like waiting. At times when I see something, I'm like, "Ooh, gimme!" and I buy it, and I don't read about it, and I usually end up regretting that. I'm hoping this is not one of those instances.
Well, so like, are you you're gonna put it into your computer when? Like this weekend or something, or what?
I have to get the new power supply as well.
Oh shit! What kind of power supply do you have in your computer now?
It's a 750 watt, I believe.
Yeah, like I would say at least an 850. At least an 850.
I got 1,000 watt coming.
Okay, that's good. Like so that's the thing about power supplies. A lot of people don't talk about. Like they have the recommended spec, and that's okay to get. And then you have your quality tiers. Gold or platinum's usually what I go with, but I usually go with like 200 to 300 watts over whatever the entire thing calculates out to. That way, it's not running the fan all the time. Because one thing I've noticed is like the power supply fan is the loudest fan in your computer sometimes.
And power supply that I got is supposed to be a quiet.
Is it a be quiet?
It's specifically like up real quick.
Look it up.
I actually didn't buy this on Newegg. I think I got this on Amazon.
Amazon?
Ah, blinded because Amazon also sucks.
Dude, dark like gray mode just needs to be an automatic setting. It just needs to be a thing.
Yeah.
Like you can see my internet browser. Like this is what my browser looks like all the time now. And that's the way it should be.
Mine does too. Like I have a dark mode thing as well, but this isn't always like specific websites like this one.
Like why is that? Like why does professional people that make websites, like why are they just like, hey, you know what? You know what they're really gonna love? Being blind. Just being blind, it's just gonna make them so happy.
I don't know why. I'm sure there's a reason.
Like, dude, like
HTML.
Seriously, it looks like you're staring at like a movie light. It's like you've got one of those big dome light things, and you're just like sitting there, just like hovered over it.
Dude. When I first started doing YouTube, before I had any kind of lights, even though I don't really use them much anymore, I would just have a white screen on one of my monitors.
Yeah, no,
that was my light.
Low-key trick, kids. If you're out there trying to get through and you got two monitors but don't have a light, just put a white like picture up. Bam,
actually, I would either a white screen, or I would do like a yellow or an orange to give that softer light look.
Yeah.
Not this like intense white light, like you said, like I'm watching a movie theater and I'm like got my nose up against the fucking screen. So I can't. Now my microphone's in my way of this other monitor.
Oh,
it's a mess here, man.
Dude, that's another thing. You got to do microphone too. Yeah, you got a little Shure microphone.
Shure USB microphone.
If you're out there listening to the podcast, let us know what you think about it. Does it sound good? I know there's actually, I do a good bit of work in post and stuff, but like most of the time it's just like bringing us up to parity with one another, and then just like making sure we're not popping the mics, and like that's it. That's really all I do. Like all that stuff I showed you that one time for like 30 to 45 minutes, like that's it. Like I just play with the EQ a little bit and level it all out, and it's done.
Yeah. Yeah, the power supply that I ended up going with is Corsair RMX series 1000-watt gold, fully modular, low noise fan.
Yeah. That should be good, dude. Like, you should be great. Now, you're not
I think
upgrading your CPU at all, are you? What do you like? What are you
no,
doing with your CPU? What is it? What
a
is it?
Ryzen 930 something hundred.
Uh huh.
Hold on, I can look that up too because I can just go look at my order history. I remember stuff, okay? My memory sucks, okay? You don't I'm not signing in. I've signed in a billion times. You know me. Screw you.
Like, Bill, like, I come here all the time. Like, literally, this is the only webpage I use. What, did you not like
Yeah,
the cookies I brought you? When was
never
it
done.
that when did you find out that cookies were a thing on the internet? When did you find it? You probably were young when you figured that out.
I yeah, I couldn't tell you. I think I probably didn't ever understand for a long time what cookies actually were or what like you hear people talk about it and you're just like, "Oh
Yeah.
yeah, it's a thing," but I don't actually know what it is.
Yeah.
Couldn't tell you
I would be honest with you, and don't laugh. Like, it was literally
now.
like like 30 seconds ago. No, I'm just kidding. Like, it was basically it was probably like 2015, 2014, 2015 or whatever. Cuz like I was always a console kid growing up, and like we had a computer. Wasn't that like we've talked about this? It wasn't like the cutting edge of technology, right? And like my biggest interaction with the internet at that point was like AOL Messenger and like going to chat rooms and like trolling people and like stuff like that, right? And
Mhm.
then like I think yeah, that's really all I did on the internet. I played a couple of games, but like none of that stuff was on the internet. And then like YouTube was I remember YouTube being a thing and like iPhones coming out and I was just like, "Oh,
Yeah.
iPhones are actually they're actually pretty cool." And
Mhm.
I got an iPhone 2, like the second it wasn't the iPhone 2, it was like the iPhone like the upgraded version of the 1 or whatever that they came out with like a year and a half later. And that was like when I found out like, "Oh, the internet's a thing. There's like YouTube. Holy crap, you go to YouTube and like watch videos about cats and stuff and what?" And then later on I found out cookies. So, yeah.
I can remember getting the only Apple, like, mobile product I've ever owned in my life was um, the Apple Touch 1. It was essentially like an iPhone without the phone capabilities, but it was like the smartphone touch screen,
Yeah.
download apps, essentially like a fancy iPod, I guess.
Yeah.
That's the only time I've ever owned an Apple product. I'm not really an Apple person, personally.
Huh. Okay. That's weird.
I mean, I don't have a beef with Apple or anything. I just prefer my Samsung. Anyways,
Okay.
my
Yeah, I'm
CPU
not
was
a
an
go ahead. Go ahead.
Ryzen 9 3900X, so it's not like super great. Probably
You
like,
still actually have an upgrade. You still have an upgrade, young man, that you could do. You can go
well,
to
I
a
know,
50 whatever series.
eh, CPU is like usually the bottom of my list of things to upgrade. It's
Yeah.
really not as important for the things that we do.
Yeah. Not anymore. Like with GPU
Yeah,
encoding, not anymore.
yeah. Anyways, so
And with that
yes.
3090 Ti you got, oh my god, you're gonna be encoding like at the speed
Dude,
of light.
this mother fricker's barely gonna fit in my case.
Oh, if you
Yeah, it's
like,
like I measured it, but I bought it first and I was like, "Oh, we need to measure this
dude,
sucker."
you might have to mod it, like cut the hood on that thing, let the like the
I
scoop
don't
like
think
sit on
so.
the outside.
I don't think so. In fact, and I just when I took it out of the box to take a picture of it for you, I went over to my computer and like held it against it, and I think it's gonna fit. It's gonna be like
I
right
think
up
it is.
against my freaking
Dude, just take
fans
the
though.
ball peen to your case. Fuck, get in there. You get in. Just shove
It's
it
more
down in that
important.
thing. Oh my
It's more
gosh.
important.
Yeah. Dude, that's hilarious. That's hilarious. I think the next computer I build, I'm gonna like I think I've told you about this off camera, whatever this space is. Off podcast. Off cast. I've told you, but like I want to take my computer now and put it out in my living room and use it as like a garage slash like in the living room type computer because only a wall splits them so I could I'm trying to like figure out a way to get HDMI cables to go from one computer but go into like mirrored in two different directions. That way I could just use one computer to do two different things. It's like it's a plan. It's a whole thing that I'm thinking about. I don't know if it's going to work. But like when I take it out there, I'm going to have to I want to make a case for it. I'm just going to make a big wooden box and put it in a end table next to my lazy boy. I think it'll be pretty cool. But like literally all it is,
a regular,
huh?
You don't have to have like a computer case.
Yeah, no, like
you can literally put all those components into a freaking soapbox and it'll work.
No, you can put them in a cardboard box. Yeah, there's plenty of people that have done that. Like, there's like a whole thing of like a whole thread of Reddit. Probably it's just like cardboard box computers. I'm not gonna look it up. Just take my word for it, because we're on the internet right now, and then like that's totally a thing that people would do. Like, sure. I've got a computer in a cardboard box. It works great.
Believe it. I'm not gonna look it up either.
Yeah. If you're out there and you're watching and you want to look it up, by all means, please do.
And then let us know.
Let us know in the comment section. Let us know. Did you see my upgrade? You noticed my little upgrade I got, right?
I did.
I got me a Chester shirt. I don't know if it's backwards to y'all. No, it's right. It's right to you. Yeah, it's right to you. Yeah.
I mean, I can read it anyway.
Well, no, like I'm thinking, for me in Discord, it's backwards, but then I look in OBS and it's right, and then I look over here and it's not there. It's actually these two. Yeah, it is a little tight though. Crazy. Though, like I'm definitely smuggling some Tic Tacs right now, so like. It's risky. I might have to. You might see me put on a jacket here in a little bit because it is kind of cold. It's like, I think the temperature is supposed to get down to like 30-something degrees tonight.
Yeah. Are you guys? Did South Carolina get hit with that freaking
like there was
ice?
There was like
storm.
Yeah, there was like we didn't get any ice or any. Well, we got ice, but like it got down in like the teens, and for us that's cold, man. Like,
crazy.
It gets up to like 125 degrees in the summer. Like, the teens is cold. That's like that's crazy, the coldest I've ever been.
We were like right on the edge of where it was coming down. Like it practically missed us.
Yeah.
We did get like it's like ice coating over everything for like a night and a morning.
Yeah.
Like people were falling, cars were just like from a stop being parked and stopped. It iced over so bad that from a stop position, cars were just sliding on their own. That's how wherever there was moisture, there was now
it just
ice.
Made ice. Yeah.
It was crazy. I mean,
I guess if you think about it, yeah, like if a car is parked, like because typically what happens is a car is parked and the pressure around the tires, it makes a little contact patch and water doesn't get in there. But if the water freezes, when water freezes, it expands. So it probably just picked it up just enough to where it could just break friction and just start going. Dude, that's so funny. Oh, it's so good.
One of my supervisors at work put us a picture home from work right when things were getting really cold and kind of sketchy. And of course, nighttime when things settle down and there's less movement and activity and everything really freezes.
Yeah.
They woke up and found their car down their driveway and in the ditch overnight by itself.
Dude, I could just imagine being like, if I was a kid in the city in like Seattle or something, or like Portland, dude, I'd just go running down the street just like pushing cars, just breaking them loose just to see where they go.
Go on TikTok, go on YouTube.
I would be that little bastard.
Seattle ice storm. So many videos of the like completely screwed, like Seattle and stuff like that. Like people are on their hands and knees just trying to get around because there's is it literally impossible to walk on 2 feet on this ice without ice
Did they
skates.
not salt
Might as well be.
anything or?
I don't think it would have mattered to the
Yeah,
way it
no.
happened.
Like,
I don't think so, man. 'Cause, like, we at my job have an entire group of people that do that.
yeah.
But salt, they put that de-icer stuff, you see the streaks on in
Well,
the
I
road?
mean, that's pretty important at the strip club. I mean, like that kind of stuff happens at the strip club all the time. A lot of
Speaking of
people don't know
salty,
that. They desalt, they salt the freaking thing, and
they
then they
s
have to desalt it
they
every
salt the
night.
strippers. They
Yes.
salt the strippers. Oh, no. I feel like now that I have one of these mics, I have to, like, touching it like they always do in, like,
Stop
podcasts and
touching it.
stuff.
Stop,
When I
please,
see them,
please.
I
Think
just feel
of
like I have
editing
to.
Eddie. Think of editing Eddie, and just stop touching it, please. Right now, podcast Eddie don't give a shit about editing Eddie, but he works very hard, and he's already like down in the dumps as it is. Like he's emotionally damaged. Like he's gonna hear this, and you like sitting there like finger banging your mic, and he's gonna hate it. He's gonna hate
Okay,
it, dude.
won't do it. I won't do it.
Stop finger banging your mic, please. Yeah, no, exactly. Well, I will say though, like the sound rejection on like you touching your mic is actually really good.
It's good.
It's really Sure's always
Um,
actually been really good at that type of stuff because they make the SM7B, but they also make the fucking the one people like sing into all the time. I can't remember the damn name of it right now.
that again?
The that one. They make this microphone right here. That one. That one. The one that you do like this with.
Somebody
Is
gets
that
that.
what you wanted? Is that what you wanted?
That's what the internet demands.
Yeah. Awkward
Anyways,
compromising positions. That's what it wants.
anywho, that's not all.
What?
I also bought a new monitor.
Ermiger. Ermiger. Dude, how much money did you spend? Like thousands of dollars?
Yeah.
Yeah, thousands. Strip club's paying good this month. A lot of people are depressed in December.
I got a lot of gift cards for Christmas, and my work actually gave us like a bonus for the first time since I've ever worked there. So I
Nice.
have treated myself a little bit.
You
Anyways,
want to see?
I
You
got
want to see what I got for Christmas?
yes.
Before you like regale us with your thing. You ready?
I'm ready.
You're one of the few people that's seen it. I showed one person because they showed up to the stream early, and I was like, "This is your treat for being here." And bam, like they know. And Kyrie, if you're out there, you better not tell nobody. I'll know if you tell.
On the internet now, though.
What? What? You're gonna like it. You ready? You know what that is. Oh, it's the Lego set. Dude. It's the mid-tier Razor Crest, bro. Look at that. Look at that. The mid-tier Razor Crest, dude. Like, I'm trying to put it in frame. There you go. Bam. That way you can see it.
Tilt it forward a little bit because the glare.
Oh,
You got
you like it?
Yeah.
It's not the full-blown one, because, like, the full-blown one's, like, freaking so expensive, man. Like, the Millennium Falcon, like, the ATST, all those things, all those kits are like between $500 and $800, bro. They're huge. You want me to look it up right now? I'll look it up right now.
Do it, but that's crazy.
That's
Doesn't
ridiculous.
surprise me.
It's redonk, bro. Yeah. So the AT-AT right now, $849.99.
Crazy.
The big boy Razor Crest. So I got, this is the medium tier, right? So this is the 1,000-piece medium one, right? The exclusive, like, big boy Razor Crest that comes with all the bells and whistles and lick'em lollies and all that good stuff. That guy?
It doesn't even look like Lego at this point, though. Like, it's just like you're putting
Oh
together a
no,
snap
it
model.
looks it looks Lego, dude.
The
It
one the
looks
one
good.
you have does, but, like, the super uber expensive top tier one, it doesn't look like
Well,
it's even made of.
you gotta think though, like, so this is a 6,000 piece Lego. This is
It is.
6,000. I might be showing it right now. I don't know what editing Eddie's gonna wind up doing. We're gonna call him EE, Big E. You got this, Big E. I believe in you. Like this, like this is $600, but it is a 6,000 piece 3-dimensional puzzle. Like literally, that's what it is.
I'm not saying it's not cool. I'm just saying
Oh no, it's fucking cute, man.
it's kinda stops being to me, it stops being Legos, and it just becomes like a snap-on model
Yeah,
you
man.
get at a hobby store. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like it. What it is from so there's typically Lego has about 3 different tiers. All right, you get this. You can take this off the screen now. Lego
Into
typically
yourself
has.
in the future.
Yeah, I'm talking about stuff. Usually Lego has 3 tiers, right? So you have good, like good, better, best, right? Best is their like is roughly between 6,000 to like 8,000 piece sets, and those are, as you can see, anywhere from $500 to $900. Like all of them are like that, and then you've got the mid tier, the better, which is roughly around like 1,000 pieces, and it's, I want to say it's not full scale. Like the 6,000 pieces are technically full scale because they use the figurines. That's the only common denominator across the entirety of Lego is the figurine size, right? So like the size of a person is like, if it's scaled properly to that, which is typically what the 6,000 piece sets are, they're scaled properly to the little Lego dude. Those are full scale. And then you've got like the medium, which is like half scale, to where like you can see right here in the cockpit, like him and little baby Grogu is just like barely in that cockpit, right? Like just barely. But like, you know, and I know from the show, like the cockpit could fit like 2 or 3 people comfortably. Like Mando and little baby Yodas, they were
Got a
totally
pilot and a
comfortable.
co-pilot.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. They were like 2 by 2 almost. There was enough room there for that. And then you've got the small scale, which is like, oh, it's 100 pieces, and you give that to your like little kid brother that's like still like eating his boogers and stuff like that. That's what you give him.
I was
That's
waiting
yeah,
to see where you were going with that.
yeah. It, like the snot still running down in his mouth, and he's just like, "Oh, this is great! I love Lego." But yeah, that's what I got for Christmas. I typically don't get Christmas presents, but my wife did surprise me. She's like, "I know you want this. You didn't say you want this, but you want this," and I was like, "Yes, I want this." All right, your monitor. Tell me about it. Tell me about it, bro.
Well, I'll tell you about it if I find it again.
As soon as I remember,
I shrink it down because it's just the surface of the sun otherwise. So,
you ever think about turning the brightness on your monitors down a little bit?
No, you know why?
Why?
Because I play a lot of spoopy games, and if I turn my brightness down, I guess I don't play games on monitors. Probably. I'm not gonna do it right now though.
This is my I agree with you finger, and this is the you got yourself self-owned finger. There you go.
I can admit when someone else is right.
Yeah. I'm not saying I was right. I'm saying you were right and you owned yourself.
I can admit when I'm right. Anyways.
Yeah.
Got 34-inch. I don't want it to be much bigger than that, honestly. I don't have that much room on my desk. I couldn't.
A 34-inch?
Yeah.
Dude, that's big.
This was on sale too.
Okay.
Yes, 34-inch. Probably gonna end up taking up the space of 2 of my monitors. 1440p.
Is it an
That
ultra
was
wide?
HD. It is. Hold on, let me actually click
Oh,
on it and go to the actual website here, or the actual information. Yeah, it says it says HDR 400. That makes
yeah.
sense to you?
Yeah, it does.
HDR?
So that's roughly so I don't know if it's like the official thing, but the way branding is working now, I think it is actually an official, like all of them got together and they were like, this is how we're going to actually say what HDR, like this is the scale of HDR and how you're going to advertise it. That way people don't get confused. Because back in the Wild West days of HDR, like it was basically the Wild West. It was just like whatever you wanted to say, it was whatever you wanted to say. And then independent reviewers started like validating these claims and everybody was just like, this is garbage, this is a bad monitor, like do not buy this. And it was just like, this is the HDR 1000 blah blah blah. Basically what it is you have your HDR, it lets you know your HDR, then there's like either a 3 or 4 digit number like 400 or like 1000 or whatever, and those are basically how bright it gets. That's like the lumens or whatever. That's what that is, because the HDR is a color standard. I think it's like 10-bit color or something like that. I don't know. 8+2. Sometimes they cheat and they do 8+2 color, or they just do straight 10-bit color, and it's also a contrast ratio. And so what they used to do, and they still do it, is they cheat the contrast ratio by like making it either super duper bright and then like super duper dark, which that's really not cheating. Like that's the way it's supposed to be. And usually you'll get those around like you'll get that kind of stuff around like 800 to 1000 HDR, 800 or 1000 or something like that.
400 is relatively low for
Yeah, like
HDR.
it's well, not really. Like 400 to 600 is like the mid. That like I have a HDR 400 and it's totally fine and it looks great. It looks fine for what I do, but it's
Okay.
like it's not like I'm not going to use it for color accuracy work. Like, but also
Right.
I don't do color accuracy work. Like dude, I stream. Like I turn it on and whatever it is what it is. Like I don't care. Like I stream to like nobody on the internet, all right?
You know the feeling.
Like you oh, sad depression, instant depression.
Oh, it just is what it is.
Yeah, it is what it is.
Let me ask you this:
that's
what
what
the heck is
those numbers? Yeah, go ahead.
the heck is UWQHD? The heck does that even mean?
UWQ? Is it
Yeah.
is it a OLED or is it
Oh
LED?
no, like the under display type, you have full HD, you have QHD, and then UWQHD.
I don't know.
Okay, I think
Because there's a lot of different like types of UWQ and OLED and like there's a lot of those different phrases that certain companies have copyrighted that phrase, like OLED. I think that's actually Samsung. Like they're the only ones that
I can tell you what it is.
What?
Want to know?
Yeah.
It stands for ultra wide quad high definition.
Oh, okay. So it's just a bunch of words that just say it's an ultra wide monitor.
Yeah.
It's a HD LED ultra wide monitor.
Yeah, it is. It is ultra wide, but it's also curved.
Oh, so you got? Have you had any of that before? Have you any of the wrapped around? Is it going to be weird?
Might be, but I'm going to get used to it because I paid for it.
I think I've paid for it. I'm going to get every bit of it. I think you made a good choice in making it 34 inches. Because if it's wraparound, like there's certain angles that it's radius, and like the bigger, the more of a field of view it's going to cover, and the more that radius is going to be good.
I sent you a link in the Discord if you want to look at it yourself. It's not super curved. Like I don't think it's going to be that weird. It's not like freaking. You don't have to. It's fine.
Hold on a second.
I'm just trying to make it convenient for you. Just listening to me ramble on about things. You don't have.
Ooh, let's look at it together.
See,
Oh my
that's what I'm talking
God.
about.
Yeah, there we go. Boom. See, editing. I know editing Eddie has already just pulled this up and is just like looking at it and just like, oh my God, I'm so glad. Like podcast Eddie did this. Like live. That way you guys can see me scroll down the page. Oh, look at that. Wow, wow. But I do have to be careful that way I don't like dox myself, which
Don't dox yourself.
yeah,
Well,
I've
just
already
like
like
rule of thumb, always blur off the top of the
oh
freaking
no,
page.
like I've already doxed
Or
myself so
crop it
much.
out.
All right, get this thing out of here. Get this freaking thing out of here.
You
Dude,
can
that's
click
a
on the little picture.
1500R display. Oh
What
no,
that
it's
means.
it's 1500R is like the curve. That's the curve rating. That's what that is. I'm sitting here like looking at the web pages. I'm just like, holy shit. But yeah, no, that should be like the HDR 400. It's going to get a lot brighter than a standard non HDR thing.
I'm fairly certain I didn't pay that price though. I'm almost certain it was on sale because I don't think I would have actually paid for it if it was that much.
I mean,
I'm not a
even for
cheapskate, but like that's a lot for a monitor for me.
that is. But for a monitor
Pretty sure it was
that
like
size,
half off or something.
yeah, a monitor that size, that's still like depending on like you're at 90% color gambit. It's got DisplayPort 1.4, yeah, HDMI. It is a 2.0. So it is a little bit of an older monitor. Yeah, it's a HDMI 2.0. A little bit older. Like the most it'll ever get is 144
like it's
hertz.
going to matter.
Yeah, I know. Like as long as it does what it's supposed to do, like it should be good. Like I think that's pretty. If you got it at like 40% off or something, dude, that's a great deal on that. That's a great
Pretty
deal.
sure it was.
Like you just
Can't
gonna have to.
remember.
Yeah, you're gonna
Let's
just have to make
just
sure.
assume I paid less for it than that.
Okay. Just try your best to be one arm's distance away from it.
I mean, I'm already like from where my monitors sit.
Yeah.
I'm still about a half a foot away from them.
What, like with your arm out, you got another half a foot?
Yeah.
So that should work out. I'm talking about that should come out with your PPI, pixels per inch. And
you talk about my PP on the freaking podcast, dude.
I'm sorry, dude. Like this is an adult podcast, okay? We talk about PPI here.
Club. This isn't the strip club.
I am so proud of us though. Like we are earning our tech podcast tag today.
We are.
We're earning it.
We really are.
We have earned our tag. But no, your PPI, pixels per inch, for those of you that are out there and you're like, man, I want a new monitor too. Look up your pixels per inch at a viewing distance. Because that's like, literally, that's what's important. That's why when you said it was 34 inches, I was just like, ooh, and it's 1440p? That's a little bit big. But since it's ultra wide, it's gonna advertise bigger because it's diagonal length. So it's probably the same width as a regular 1440p, but it's just the fact that it's wrapped around. You should be good. Yeah, because it's 3440 by 1440 instead of 2650, if I remember right, which is a standard 16 by 9 aspect ratio numbers thing. Yeah, dude, I'm happy for you. All of this was your Christmas present to yourself, right? All of this was for yourself.
The microphone, and actually I have a boom arm that's coming for the microphone. This is the old boom arm that I had, which is really chintzy and like no stability in it at all, and it just makes a lot of noise. So I actually bought a specific boom arm for this, which
don't finger bang it. Big E's gonna get upset.
My property. Bang it.
I will take this finger now.
Get this. So like for Christmas, right? I won't mention any names, but I doubt that they listen to this anyways. I do have.
Don't talk about Sarge like that. Don't talk about Sarge like that. I heard what he said. I heard what he said. He's like, I don't listen to him. I unsubscribe. Click, and I do the same thing.
Anywho, I have friends side of the internet and work.
Yeah.
They've been having some issues with like immediate family, so they were gonna be spending Christmas pretty much by themselves, and I was like, "Come hang out with me and my family." Like, I've known these guys since I was kids, like, we're
Oh,
practically
yeah.
family anyways, right?
Yeah.
Like, a day before Christmas Eve, they're like, "Oh, we're not coming, we're going to our sister's." It was kinda disappointing, and it annoyed me a little bit, especially because my folks had bought them gifts.
Oh,
A little
shit.
a little annoyed, but you know what? I get that they wanna spend the holidays with their actual family and not just,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
best friend who's practically family. I get it. Not bitter. I'm actually not. I'm playing it up a little bit, but I really am not. I gave them a lot of outs too. I was like, "Look, guys, I'm this way." When people are like, "Oh, come over and do this thing," and then the day before comes and you're like, "Fuck, I really don't wanna go do that." But I've already told them I'm
Yeah,
going to.
you're just, like, obligated to go do like,
Yeah.
you're like just like, "Alright, let's
So
just go get it done."
yes. So from the start, I was like, "Guys, seriously, comes to the time and you don't want to, just tell me because I know what that's." So,
Yeah.
what happened, which is fine. Do wish they'd said something sooner because I didn't realize my folks were gonna be buying them gifts because I didn't buy them gifts. I thought we were gonna do gifts first and then dinner and they'd come over.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So, whatever. So, gifts that they got them were like $50 Amazon gift cards, which I got.
You got him. Bam! You
But
shoulda came
they
to
also
Christmas.
they also got us $50 gift cards, me and my brother, and
What, your parents got you and your brother $50 gift cards?
among other things, but they're like, "Here, like, get whatever you want, you're adults," you
Yeah.
know?
Why don't
Like,
why don't why don't instead of giving people gift cards, why don't you just give them a check? Like, literally, I could just you can give me a check, and I could deposit it in, like, less than a minute. Why give me a
you
gift
know
card?
I don't
I
know,
had this
it's
debate with my wife the other day about gift cards and how, like, BS they are and stuff, and she just looked at me like I was telling her, like, that I just saw a ghost or some wild shit just happened, or I just, like like, my head was just coming off my body. She looked at me like I was the crazy one, and I'm not. Gift cards are bullshit. You can't change my mind about it. Just give somebody a fucking check. That's just write them a check, and boom. Like,
I'm
literally,
gonna
it is a personalized gift card. That is what it is.
checks are kind of outdated anyways. Like, I
But,
don't even
like,
have a
here's the
checkbook.
thing. You can take a picture of that check. Most
I
mobile
know.
banking, you can just
No.
deposit it and be done. It's better than giving them cash. My in-laws gave me and my wife cash for Christmas, and, like, it's still sitting on our counter. Like, it's just like, fuck, we don't want to go to the bank. Fuck. Why didn't
I
they just
get
write
it.
us a check? Like, I
Anyways,
know, I get it. Most young people nowadays don't even know what a check looks like. They don't know what a deposit slip looks like. And, like, I understand that. But if, like, you're going to have to learn at some point and just give people checks. It's easier. All around. You're saving so
point
much waste.
point that I was trying to make,
Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I
that
went on a rant. You said
I had
the magic G word, and I was freaked
uh,
out.
regardless of your feelings on the subject, I ended up with, like, $250 in gift cards for a single website, which I used and got the
Dude,
boom
big
arms.
winner. Big winner. That's a dub right there. That's a huge dub.
My brother gave me his gift cards because he doesn't really do, like, online shopping, he's kinda weird like that, so I'm like,
Hey,
"You're
hey,
not
that's
gonna
fine.
use them. Can I have them? I'm looking at this microphone I wanna buy." He's like, "Yeah, here. Hey, two $50 gift cards, $100 just out of nowhere." So, yeah, I made out pretty good in that.
You little bandit, you. You little bandit.
I need a little mask.
Yeah. Get your little mask, you little bandit.
Mm. Yeah, I got a few, little, like, nice stuff for myself.
Good. I'm
Oh,
happy for you, dude. Like,
thanks.
really, I am. I'm, like, super happy. Like, I like seeing my friends, like, get nice things. I like seeing nice people, like, good things happen to nice people. Cause, like, way too often, like, there's just too much stupid shit happening. Or, like, bad people get rewarded for being bad. Or, like, stupid shit. Like, God, like too
No,
much
you're
of that
right.
happens, and it's
Mm.
far like publicized way too much in today's day and age to where it's just like, oh, because clickbait, everybody's going to click on this and read this story, and they're right, we will, and that fucking sucks. Like literally wholesome memes, like that's my biggest retweet. Wholesome memes on Twitter, like that's shit's my jam. Because I'm just like, oh, this is great. Kind of makes me tear up a little bit. I wipe it away.
Oh,
Yeah,
sensitive Eddie.
yeah. You wanna
Make
talk
me.
about some other stuff that I saw on Twitter or what?
Yeah, what you got?
Like I saw, like really, we were looking through. Well, I'm not gonna lie to you folks. We were looking through the news before we started the podcast, and really, in gaming, I don't think really anything's happened. This is the last week of the year, and everybody's just got their fuck it pants on, and like nothing's happening. Like literally, that is what's going on. Except for I think IGN. I think that's who it was. I did have the website pulled up. Please forgive me if my mouse is all over the place. It probably is. Yeah, IGN actually. Can you see my mouse on the other screens? No, you can't. I actually blocked it properly. Yo, I'm tech savvy. Like IGN interviewed like Hideo Kojima, you know, the person that made Death Stranding, the absolute atrocity that is Death Stranding, but not really a bad game, but it's just weird. Uh,
Oh,
and he said, "Whoa, what? What?
it's a review right there.
That's a review. I think it's a good bad game. I just think it's a good bad game. I
Still
told
never
you
played
this.
it.
I told you like the beginning's iffy, the middle, like the gameplay is great, and then you get to where the ending of the thing starts, and it's just like they just went out to lunch and they like told the intern that's only been making games for like 3 weeks to like, hey, just write a thing. We'll make it when we get back. Like it's literally what it feels like. Like
Well, considering they just announced a sequel, maybe that's exactly what it is.
maybe that's what it is. Yeah, I don't. Yeah, like even if it like it just I don't know. It just maybe it's because it's non-traditional storytelling. Like his storytelling style is very non-traditional and very like I'm an artist kind of stuff that like I just see it and I'm just like what the fuck is this? Like I don't my brain has a hard time making sense of it. Maybe that's what it is. It could be. I don't know. Um but yeah, I just don't like I don't get it. I don't get it. Everybody's just like, "Oh, Kojima, oh my god." And I don't
Where's Kato when we need? Because
yeah,
that's Kato.
I don't get it. Yeah, I know. Me and Kato have had this discussion about Death Stranding back when I was playing it, and like it came to PC and all that. Like I was having a great time playing the game until the ending started, and then I was just like, man, this game sucks. Because once the ending started, you were like, all right, the ending's going to be here in about 30 minutes, and then 4 hours later, I finished the game.
Wow.
It was one of those
about...
like yeah, it was one of those this is the ending, this is the ending, this is the ending, this is the end. Anyway, enough rant about that. He said in an interview that he wanted to be like an AI consciousness or like download his brain to an AI thing. I've got the article here. I'm not going to read it. I haven't read it honestly. I've just read the headline and it interests me. It interests me because I myself have had the same exact thought. And yeah, here's the article right here. We're looking at it, all of us. And it was written by Shuka Yamada for IGN, right? IGN? Yeah, IGN.com. And pretty much, like, it's a pretty, like, lengthy interview.
It's ridiculous how
like,
long this article.
maybe it's just because it's in written form instead of spoken. It could have just been a 30-minute interview, but like there's a bunch there. If you're all about Kojima, please by all means go to IGN, read it, stuff like that. Give them the views on their website. But the thing about it is like I've had this thought so many times of like, man, I'd love to be like in a robot body or like an AI, like download my brain, put it in a computer and stuff like that. I'm glad to see there's another person that thinks the same way as me. Do you think that way, Jared? like we've talked about this. I feel like we've talked about it before, but I don't know if we talked about it at at length and girth or just like snap thought. Yeah, girth. I said it. I said the G word. What about it?
I don't know if we've actually sat down and talked about it. I think it may have come up once, maybe when we were talking about like virtual reality and stuff like that. Maybe
Yeah.
I'd be wrong.
Yeah.
You want to know what I think about?
Yeah.
I think
We're
I
using
don't know.
this
I
as a catalyst for the conversation. What do you think about taking your consciousness and putting it in a digital form?
think it's a fascinating idea, but I just have this feeling that it would not end well.
Okay, that's a legitimate fear that it will also be a legitimate reality
Well,
because
I
corporate
don't.
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm more worried about it becoming like I think there was a is there a Black Mirror episode? Have you ever seen that show Black Mirror?
I've seen episodes of Black Mirror. I don't think I've seen the one you're gonna tell me about. You've told like this is how I know we've talked about this because you brought up the same thing last time.
I
But I think it was off pod. It was off pod. Let's put it
might have
on
been
pod.
off pod. That would be a great name for a podcast. Off pod, on pod. Anyways,
I don't know.
I can't remember the episode in particular, but I think like a guy gets his consciousness uploaded, but then they like fast forward his perception of time by like 10,000 years in the span of like 10 minutes in our in actual reality.
Yeah.
They were able to manipulate it. It was like I think it was like a form of like a prison, like he'd done something wrong, like maybe he murdered someone. I can't remember. It's been a while. I feel
Yeah.
like something like that could happen. Like you could essentially be putting yourself into prison of just like never-ending torture. It might be cool for the first like 100, 200 years. I think this like when you talk about being put into like an AI or like something like that, you're almost teetering on the subject of like immortality.
No, you are. There's no
Obviously there's a
teetering. You
shelf
like you
life.
are. Yeah. No, you
Well,
are
there's a
immortal.
shelf life for technology. I mean, the power source goes away, you no longer have a thing. Power sources are usually not infinite. They're usually finite.
Yeah.
Unless it's like the sun, you know. If it's a renewable energy source, that would be different. But like in most cases, technology isn't forever. It's a long time potentially.
Yeah.
So yeah, I kind of feel like it's a really cool idea, like science. It's a really cool science fiction bordering on like it could actually probably be a thing at some point. Yeah, just really feel like it would probably not. It would probably be used for those purposes other than reality purposes. I don't know. Like why does anyone deserve to live forever? Let's talk about that maybe. Like why does Kojima why does he think he deserves to live forever in an AI construct?
I don't think he thinks that he deserves it. I think he like I once again we didn't read the whole article, so we're just making
I read
assumptions
it at all.
at all. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, we're just making assumptions. But like you don't have to think that you deserve to live forever. You just need to want it. Like really realistically, like if I was in his position and I had like social connections and money and like free time and no debt, which he probably has crap tons of debt because he did just start a new game studio, but also his game sold really, really good. And he probably, yeah, everything's
Oh,
probably already paid for or whatever. Anyway, just all besides stuff. Like, I would, I would try to do the same thing too. Like, honestly, like, I would try to digitize my consciousness. But there's what your concerns like some of your concerns like oh like it could be a prison and things could go real bad and blah 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 blah. Blah. All that stuff is 100% legitimate and probably will happen in some way, shape, or form, just because of the way that we make laws as a society is about 15 to 20, if not greater, year span behind our technology. And once like we get to the point where we can hold a human consciousness in a computer, right? Once we get to that point, like technology is probably going to be so advanced that Like, it's just going to go fast, fast, fast. Because, like, if you think about it, to hold a human consciousness in a computer, at that point, that computer or that digitized structure, whatever it is, like, I'm just saying computer because that's our scope of what we understand. Like, it could be something totally different. Like, it could be like one of those paracausal supercomputers or whatever, right? Like, where there's really no like bits like on off. There's like, is it there or is it not? Did you observe it? Like that kind of compute type stuff. Like
Schrodinger's computer.
No, like that's like that's how some supercomputers work. They're like they work off of like particles and a quantum computer, and they work off of that bullshit. It's crazy. But like that might be the future. I don't know. But like at that point, AI is 100% going to be possible and is not going to be like the bullshit fake AI that we have today, where you need human prompts. Yeah, no, like it's going to be like full on like artificial life forms or non-biological. I say artificial, like if it's a life form, it's a life form. That's my opinion on it. Whether it's digital or biological, like it's a life form. That's it. Like it has conscious thoughts. It thinks and feels and blah blah blah. Whatever we wanted to say, whatever we want to say is a living thing and not just an imitation of it. That will be a thing, because if you think about it, like that means that AI is capable, just as capable as this fucking meat bag inside of a bowling ball that we've got. That's like I don't know. I was trying to think of a clever way. Anyway, it's going to be just as capable, and we're going to have the compute units or the compute thing to be able to hold that and process it and all that kind of stuff. So at that point, we should technically be able to take our brain and put it in a computer, because they're going to be so similar, potentially in size and scope, that it will be possible.
See, here's my problem with that whole idea, though.
Yeah.
You're just talking about putting your consciousness into a computer. Like, look at your computer right now. You lived in there.
Yeah.
Half the time it's off. Half the time the user's not around. Just exist.
Yeah.
You don't get to go anywhere. You don't get to do anything.
Yeah, just like when you go to sleep.
Anyone. Whatever. Except it's for forever now.
That's the potential. So that's the thing. Like you would. Yeah, go ahead.
A counter would be, if I'm gonna do something like this, transference of my consciousness into an artificial whatever, I would like it to be a mobile robot, like bleep burp, I am now Data from Star Trek. He doesn't sound like that at all, but it just happened that way.
You sound like a Doctor Who bot.
I'd rather be more like Data than a Doctor Who robot, though, because most of the robots in Doctor Who are evil.
Yeah.
I don't. But you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. That's the saying. Like, if you lived forever, even with the best of intentions, as a freaking artificial, once organic sentience, probably eventually get so bored that you would become an evil entity. Like, it's just gonna happen. No one's going to become, or no one's going to be altruistic for the rest of their existence.
Yeah.
There's not enough to do to keep sane. You would eventually get so bored, it'd be like pulling wings off of a butterfly. Like, you're just going to go from that to killing small animals and then people and then whatever you can do to not be bored.
Yeah. You want to know my thoughts on it?
Inevitability. Yes, I do.
So I think what's going to happen is we're going to develop computers. We're going to get AI, right? Like true AI. And there's going to have to be laws put into place that protect AI, right? From global corporate bullshit that's like abusing AI and like mistreating it. That has to happen. Because at that point, it's a sentient thing, creature, being, consciousness, whatever. And those laws are going to have to also apply to digitized humans to keep corporate bullshit from taking that over. If we haven't moved past like capitalism and shit like that. By that point, if we haven't moved past that as a society, we're gonna need laws to protect like corporate bullshit from abusing digitized entities, right? That's what it'll probably have to be, is like a digitized entities law or something like that. But at that point, if you could put your brain in a computer, like literally anything that has a computer chip and has enough capacity to hold you, right? This thing, let's say it has enough capacity. I could put a digitized person in this, and they're in there. They're my assistant. They're like my homie that helps me out throughout the day when they're working. Like, see, that's the thing, right? Like, so how are you gonna, like, if we live in a capitalistic society or whatever, like, how are you gonna have to pay for your storage? You got to pay for yourself. Like, the shit's not free. It's not free. That's the reality, right? Unless it is free, and then we're no longer in a capitalist society. But like, let's say it's not free. How do you work? How do you pay for your way, right? Well, you are essentially a person on a digital platform, right? So I'll work as your assistant 8 hours a day. I'll use my brain power to help you offset your brain power for 8 hours a day. Or I'll run the robot down at the factory. I'll use my brain power to run this robot for 8 hours a day.
You're saying you want to be able to like change where your consciousness is stored?
Yeah.
You can
There's no
enter the
reason you
cloud
shouldn't be able to do that.
I'm just curious because I wasn't sure if that's what you were talking about.
Yes. So that's yeah, you're right. I was getting off topic. I'm sorry. So like once you digitize your brain and shit, you should be able to take your consciousness or your program or whatever you want to call it, the thing that is you, and transfer it from device to device to like do different things. Like, oh yeah, one day I might be in this phone, the next day I might be in the dump truck down the street running this dump truck for 8 hours a day, right? The next day I might be in that spaceship that's going to Mars. The next day after that I might be in the freaking power grid that runs the planet. Like the day after that I might be doing something else. My ultimate goal would be to digitize my brain and get myself on a starship and just explore. Like that's my
right.
That
But
would be
here's
my
the thing:
that would be my goal.
you're not going to get to do that.
No, I'm never like
Bezos is going to get to do that.
Yeah,
Elon Musk is going to get to do that.
No,
You're going to be working that garbage truck.
Technically, they're never going to be able to do that.
Like me.
Yeah.
I'm getting a new hypothetical situation.
Yeah,
here.
no, like this. You're right.
It's almost like a new afterlife hierarchy in a way.
Oh yeah.
You're going from existing in a physical world, doing your job based upon your skills and your experience, to now I'm a digitized person, but I still am going to have to abide by those same rules. Like, yes, I can be uploaded to the cloud now, and I can go from Joe Schmo's phone to the hamburger flipper robot down the street. But you're not just going to be able to be like, I'm going to transfer my consciousness to the Mars mission Excelsior, which is the first ship, one of the ships going to Mars. They're going to be like, no. You don't get to do that. You're not important enough. You're just Eddie, streamer, person. You don't have enough money. You're not, you're like I said, you're gonna have like a Jeff Bezos or a Elon Musk level person to ever do anything like that. So essentially, you're creating a prison for yourself.
Yeah.
Unless you're already rich and famous and successful and all that stuff that you would have to be one of these people who could do anything they want, you're essentially just trading a physical life of indentured servitude to a digital life of servitude.
But it's a digital life that lasts forever.
It's
eventually
worse.
you will eventually be wherever you want to be.
It is the one thing we have to look forward to in life, is our eventual demise. We can leave this.
So like that's another thing, right? Like, let's say you're right. The rich and powerful will be the first people to do this, and then at that point,
the only people to do this until we evolve as a species.
No. Hold on. Like once they do this, they lose their power. They lose their money.
I don't think they would. They would though. They now exist on a digital platform, but how much currency is digital? Think about cryptocurrency.
Yeah.
How much
How
currency is
many
transferred?
times have you seen a car buy something?
We're not talking about a car. We're talking about a sentient digitized
So
entity.
a
It's a
rich
completely
person,
different.
what they would probably do, you're right. Now that I think about it, what they would probably do is digitize themselves and then just put themselves in a robot body.
That's would be,
And then they
in
would
my
just
opinion,
exist.
preferable.
Then they would just exist in a biological world, but in a mechanical form. But like that mimics the biological thing, right? So people like you and I, like normal Joe Schmoes, the only way that we're going to be able to do it when it first comes out is extenuating circumstances. We're either going to be the crash test dummies for it. We're either going to be like there's something special about us that only lets us do it, right? Like something in our brain that, like the way our brain's wired, it'll only work for this type of person, just like blood types or something like that. Something that's unique to individuals on a basic form level. And then
Okay.
you're going to have, like, if it turns out to where laws or social discourse dictate to where once you're digitized, you are a servant, then we will be the first ones. But
Yeah.
here's another thing that's going to happen, right? Like, so digital humans, AI, digital humans, technically they last the lifespan of the technology that supports them. And you said it yourself, like that technology could last for hundreds of years. It's not infinite, but it could be hundreds of years as long as it has proper support structures and enough energy to support it forever, like solar energy or some crap like that, right? So, or like nuclear power or nuclear fission or whatever. Dude,
Something new
did you
altogether.
see they made like the fission stuff happen? Oh, I'm so excited about it. But that's a totally different thing. It's a totally different thing. I'm excited about it. Oh, it's freaking sick. But like, what was I going? Where was it going? What was I saying right before I get into that?
Talking about our being the technology going. I don't know where you were eventually going. You were kind of reiterating what we'd already talked
Oh
about.
yeah, right. So digital humans, I got it. Digital
Okay.
humans or digital consciousnesses or whatever will last for extenuated amount of time. Will
Hmm.
they be allowed to reproduce? Will I be able to, like, how will they reproduce? Will I be able to duplicate myself? Will I be able to duplicate my program, like bifurcate my program to where there will be two versions of me on independent, like, then at that point they become two independent people, right? Then you have one can split off into two can split off into four. Like it Christmas trees
You
out,
want to
right?
copy and paste yourself?
Yeah, but each time you do that, like each time you do that, that's a completely different person. That is a
That's an interesting
completely
idea.
different thing. Like it's basically cloning, right? Like you're
Yeah.
cloning a human, but they're not the same human because studies have shown between like identical twins and stuff like that, even though they're biologically, like DNA wise, basically the same, like psychologically and stuff like that, like they're just different people. Like they're just totally different, right? Different scenarios or similar scenarios completely affect them differently. They think differently. They have different emotions. They have different thoughts, blah, 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 all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
They're just a different person. So if you took the same program and split it, you made two people, as long as it's a complete copy, right? As long as one copy's not, as long as your copy's not like neutered in a way to where it's no longer true AI, to where it's just like, oh, it's just a fancy program. That's kind of what AI is nowadays. It's not really true AI. It can't think and act on its own. It has to have prompts, or it has to have like input, or like you have to ask it a question. And it's also in the fact of like how it learns. Like it only learns what you show it. Like, it doesn't go out and seek knowledge on its own, right?
It would be one thing if the AI just suddenly started drawing a picture because it was bored
Yeah.
versus drawing a picture because you typed in purple banana launching mechanism and it painted that.
Yeah.
You know, like if it was if an AI decides to do something completely on its own, like why, like it draws a picture, you're like, why did you do that? Because I was bored. Boom, that thing's alive.
Yeah.
Nothing prompted it. No outside input. It was just like decided it was bored and wanted to do something. Like to me, that would be a sure sign of like a true AI.
Yeah. I remember what I was trying to get to. Like, so let's say we're digital humans, right? Could we? There's three potential ways now that you say that. There's three potential ways that we could reproduce as digital humans. A,
Right.
we could only allow ourselves to reproduce biologically and then make the choice to be digitized for some reason, whether or not whatever it is. We just make the choice or the choice is made for us depending on social standing or whatever, right? Like, but we continue as a biological species that goes to a different, like, transcends a different plane, right? Of existence, like in a digital space or a biological space or whatever, right? We do it like that, or we do it like that, and or we just bifurcate ourselves digitally. Like, in the beginning, there's only 10 people that got digitized, but humanity 10,000 years in the future is just like huge and diverse and all this, but like it's mostly digitized, and it all stemmed from those first 10 people that bifurcated themselves, right? Like, because if you keep doing it, you just keep doing it until everything's populated, right? Right. So like you still have those core 10 people or whatever it was, right? We could do it like that, or you can have it to where like you could either bifurcate yourself or split yourself. I keep saying that word. I'm sorry. I've used it too much.
Word of the day.
Word of the day,
Put it on the screen.
bifurcate.
I want to see it.
Yeah, like, we're just going to do it like the more you know, but it's just going to be bifurcate.
Yes.
Yeah. Or you can make it to where two digital people get together and knock like ones and zeros, right? And then they make a completely separate digital entity that's its own thing, right? So like you got like little girl in the Matrix that was at the train station. That's what that was. Two digital programs they wrote another program together. They dictated an entire another program that was not part of the system, that had zero purpose.
So here's my thoughts on this. This is actually a really interesting idea because I never actually thought about like AI, or at least not necessarily like true like a true AI, but like people becoming digitized versions of themselves, and the need to reproduce, because the reproducing is a biological instinct.
Yeah, no, it's a biological 100%. Yeah.
For a species to continue to exist. It's written in DNA so that, creature will not go extinct. But if you no longer need to do that, is it even going to be something that is desired? Because right now, reproduction is usually based on two things: the need to actually reproduce and to have, fun. That's why people do what they do. But if that urge no longer exists because you are no longer an organic creature, you no longer have genes. You're digitized version of a consciousness. Like you're no longer like constrained by your genetics, because you are not genetic anymore. You are code. You're ones and zeros. Would you even have the desire to reproduce?
If you were once biological, yes, because that part of you is still in there.
But I don't know. Like, I think we're delving into territory of like where there's no possible way we could actually answer this question until it happens.
Like if you still have the desire to reproduce as an AI or digitize whatever, either it's going to be something that's just in you because fucking we banged rocks together to make fire at one point. Like it's just in us. Like that's just what we do. Or there's going to be some type of motivation other than that, or we're just not going to do it. Like because if there's no reason to do it, why do it? Like the only reason I can think of from like a compute standpoint is like you just have more programs to deal with more situations. Because like once we're digitized, like we can expand exponentially. Like we're like a goldfish. We're going to get as big as our fish tank lets us, and that's it. We get expand as a society, civilization, like universal power, whatever you want to call it, as big as our infrastructure will let us get. Right. And then at that point, like you're not going to be able to have one thing control it all. It's going to have to dictate roles and tasks and all that to sub programs or other versions of us that we split off and make. All right, you're the one that does this, and you're the one that does that, and you're the one that does this, and you're the one that does that, and all that stuff. That's the only thing I could see or think of would be like the logical why we would do it without the desire to have fun. You know, get our kicks where we can.
I mean, being honest, you know.
But like if we,
no, it's actually a really interesting idea, a really interesting
like,
thought.
Honestly. If we digitize it, another thing I thought about, right? So like we could either split ourselves, we could find another digitized human and like knock ones and zeros, or technically we could knock ones and zeros with an AI, with a non-digitized human.
Right.
Technically, you could do that. Or you would reproduce asexually or digitally, where you would just like not copy yourself, but like use yourself as a template and then change parameters, and then that would probably be the most efficient way. You just like create an offshoot, change parameters for the task you need it to do, and then send it on its way, and it does it.
Right. I get it, like, but I'm still just stuck at the point as to like what's the point of doing that? Because again,
so you live forever.
No, like, but you already are. Like you don't need to reproduce. You don't need a legacy anymore because you are already what you are.
Oh yeah, your
copies of yourself will only live as long as you are, anyways.
Well,
they're
like
not gonna live longer just because they're copies.
Like it's the only reason. Like I said, the only reason I could think of that you would do that is if you needed another digitized like program. I'm just gonna call it a program. You would need another program to run something else so you can focus on this one thing. Yeah, like hey, you are the one that sits here at this freaking camera, and if anybody comes out of that hall, you're gonna face recognition them, and you will tell me who they are. And that version of your program is just like, okay, I'm looking, and it just never takes its eyes off that camera. That would be a terrible existence.
I think that introduces a new question, though. So if you're talking about a digitized person who has a job, does the individual decide when he is bifurcated? Is that what the word you were using?
Bifurcated.
Split in two. I know what it means. I was just trying to not stumble over my words.
You're trying to be funny. I see it. You're trying to be clever.
No, I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to say, like, if a person who's digitized now has a function in society as the guy that watches the cameras or works the desk, but then his subroutine works the cameras. The digitized person, does he or she or however you label, if at all, do they choose to split or reproduce themselves, or does someone else make that choice for them based upon that need in physical society? Like if I'm a person and I own a bank and I'm like, hey, Eddie, you're dead and you said you'd work for me. I need more of you though, so I'm gonna make more of you because the cameras don't work with just you. You don't get to choose because you're ones and zeros, pal. Or do they actually get the choice?
Or you owe me. You owe me X amount of time of work.
That starts rolling down into slavery, dude. That's not.
So, well, no, I mean, like you think about it, like that's kind of the way, like, I don't, like, how do I put this? So it's like,
You
it's
can't
almost
barter
like,
your existence, dude.
huh? What?
You can't barter your existence.
Yeah, you
You can't
can.
be like,
What are you talking about?
oh,
Yeah.
that's
Where did they
that's
just have the World Cup? Saudi Arabia?
I don't know.
Yeah, wherever the World Cup was. I think it was Saudi Arabia. That's what they do. Like all those people that built those stadiums and stuff in Saudi Arabia, they're indentured servants because
That's
they signed a contract to go to Saudi Arabia to work for money,
I'm not
and they
saying
can
you
do that.
physically can't do it. I'm just saying it's not right. I'm
Yeah,
not
no,
talking
it's
about
not like
ethics.
that's not right, but like that's how
I'm not saying it's physically
that will be a
impossible.
thing.
Yeah.
That's why I'm saying like there has to be laws written to protect digital
Sure.
entities.
Sure.
If there's
You know,
not,
probably wouldn't happen in a good way.
yeah, like it will have to happen at some point. The first stages of it are going to basically like repeat our history up to this point: slavery, indentured servitude, blah blah blah, all the bad
Just
spots
people
nobody really
being
wants to talk
terrible.
about. Yeah, people being shitbags to each other. Like that will be replicated because nobody pays attention to history apparently, or they think history doesn't apply to the situation at hand because it's future stuff, right? Like that.
We're evolved. That will never happen
Yeah,
again.
yeah. Like slavery never doesn't really happen. Well, it does. It's just called a mortgage. It's just called a
First world
mortgage. It's just
slavery does
called debt.
exist, but
That's what it is.
actual slavery still exists
Yeah,
too
no,
in
it
other
still
places.
does. Yeah, it still does.
Probably shouldn't like say these words too much because we're just gonna get demonetized.
Oh, YouTube's
Can't say
gonna.
slavery.
Oh, you can't say
Can't
the
even
S
use
word.
that word. We know we're having an intelligent conversation about it. We're already getting like shoved to the dark sides of the internet where no one will ever see our podcast because we've said too
Yeah,
many words that they don't like people
yeah.
saying out loud.
I think. Let's wrap it up. The AI thing. If given the option, I would do it.
Would need
I
more
would.
information.
I would do it. I would need more information, but I would only do it if, like, I was guaranteed rights just like any other human, right? Like, I can't be like in servitude, blah 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 blah, all this other stuff. I get to make my own decisions, blah 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 blah.
You want to retain
I
your
want to,
your
yeah,
human rights.
I should retain my human rights because I started
You're
life
still
as a human.
human,
Yeah,
just
like yeah,
different.
I'm just a digitized human. I would want that, and also I would be like, "Hey, you're going to put me on a spaceship. I'm going to go to places. I'm not fuck this rock. I'm going somewhere else.
You're gonna be like,
Y'all people are
garbage for you,
crazy.
bud.
I'm out of here.
We need the
Shoot
septic
me to the
system AI.
like. You think about it, like that's probably one of the only ways we're going to be able to go to other planets from that are a super long distance away, as like some type of entity or something. Like if we digitize ourselves and we go as a digital society, like the ship is like its own society, its own like the ship is like 10,000 people worth of digital constructs, right? Or whatever, digitized humans. Like that's probably the only way we're going to be able to go to places, and then we're going to have to populate exoframes and just do that. And then when we get there, there's going to be like meaty, like fleshy meat bags that are like, "Oh my god, the aliens are here!" And nuke us.
About this for an idea. I know you said we were wrapping this up, but I just had another idea. So what if
This is going to be a
just
long one.
What's not? It will if you interrupt me and I forget what I'm gonna say though.
What are you going to say?
I don't remember. No, so let's assume the possibility of downloading human consciousness to a digitized form is possible.
Yeah.
Let's assume that is something that now exists. Imagine, if you will, a future where that is a normal day thing. There's commercials about it. Your health insurance covers it. Your life insurance covers it. This is a normal thing. People can somehow take an thing we don't even understand consciousness, digitize it. Now, what if there's a way to put it back?
Oh, to put it back in a meat body? Yeah. So like
Like,
that's altered carbon. Like, that's what that show is.
great. Never seen it. Don't know what it is. but this is my own idea. I don't need. I seriously have never seen it. Seriously, like this literally
like
just popped in my head. So,
this is how we talked about it. You were telling me about that movie with the dude that did the thing that shot himself across space and to put himself. Yeah.
Okay, so on like, 'cause I want to go to other worlds too. I'm a sci-fi nerd too. Here's the thing: if we're at a point in society where technology, where we can transfer our consciousness, I guarantee you we can clone a person.
Yeah.
So say it takes 1,000 years to get to the next solar system or whatever. I'm just throwing a number out there. In a really long amount of time, digitize your consciousness into the spaceship.
Then clone your body when you get there.
And you clone your motherfucking body when you get there, and you just download it back in. Now you're not a robot.
So here's the thing, right? Like, let's say your consciousness can only exist in a human, in a meat bag, right? In a meat popsicle. But you can put your consciousness in a digital form to where, like, when you like die or whatever, you just like make another meat popsicle and you just put yourself back in it. Right? But like there's something in our brain that's like, oh well, this isn't my body. I'm fucking and you can't take not being in your body for more than like 30 minutes at a time, right? Then you could save your file, your genetic code, your consciousness, whatever, to a thing, digitize it, bam, there it is. And then when you die, you just make another one. So man, you need to fucking watch Altered Carbon. You need to watch it. I know I jest about Golden Girls and fucking all this other. You need to watch that show because you'll see it and you'll be like, dystopian future. You're gonna love it.
Dystopia.
Because it's literally that premise. And the rich get richer. The rich live forever, and the poor get shuffled off into nothingness.
Have you ever seen the movie The Island?
I don't think
it has
so.
Ewan McGregor in it.
Ewan?
And it's an island. What?
Ewan? Ewan McGregor?
Ewan McGregor. They're on an island.
Yeah.
Clones. They don't know that they're clones, so they try to escape. Think the world has ended. These clones exist harvested by the rich. Like a rich person has a clone on this island. So if they get in an accident and they need a heart transplant, they just freaking, you've been rescued, or you're going to the surface, you won the lottery, but they're actually just taking these clones, harvesting them and discarding them. Freaking great movie, dude.
Dude, I'm glad you spoiled it for me.
Give me a suggestion. It's not really, it's not really like it's not really though.
Is it?
Well, you know what?
I mean, I think the premise of that is like,
I don't know how
that's
I could
an
have
intriguing
explained
thought. No, that's a great
I don't know how
thought.
I could have explained that movie without saying what I said, though. What could I have said to have made it sound interesting?
No, like, dude,
There's a bunch of dudes on an island, and it has. I don't know why I'm even mentioning it. Even that, like,
they're all clones.
Screw you, man, for making me feel
Everybody's
bad.
a clone. Everybody loves clones.
Bullshit.
Yeah, this is it.